So I'm going to do a quick demo of the e-lico plugin to Taverna, which will hopefully show off the various bits of infrastructure that we've got and how we can actually connect them together and start addressing some of the use cases. The use case I'm going to use comes from the iPhone use case on obstructive nephropathy in the kidney. And essentially we have some data about proteins in urine, and we want to do some data mining to get some predictions for these proteins, and then to finish this off we want to actually connect the outcome of the data mining to data in the CUP knowledge base and try and see if we can put any of those proteins back into the context of where they might be expressed in the kidney. So we go to Taverna, and the first thing that we can see is the rapid miner service tree. So this is the 400 or more rapid miner operators which are now available to use in Taverna, and these are being fed from the rapid analytics repository running locally at Manchester. And the first thing to do is to get our data up onto the repository and to set the some metadata about the various attributes in these data files. So I'm going to use a set role operator, and I'm going to upload a file using the Rapid Analytics browser in Taverna. So the first one is a reduced training set. And this has an attribute called sample, and we want to set this as the ID. And I'll name this service training, and I need to set another role on this data, which is the label, and I'm going to specify explicitly where I want the output of this service saved. So this will be training with the roles set, and the attribute is called class. And this is our label, and then we can connect these two operators up. And I also need to do the same for the test data. Now when we run this, this will actually process those files. And you can see if we actually go up onto our Rapid Analytics, see we've got some files and some intermediate files generated. Importantly, we've got the training data with those roles set. And so now the data is in a format that we can actually use for some planning. So in the insert menu we can have this new option, which is the e-lico IDA planner. And the first thing to do is to select the data mining goal. So we want to do some predictive modeling, and we have some training and test data, so we can perform the data mining task. Now at this stage I need to just set the files that we're going to use. So these were the two files that we just created. So this one is the training data, so we can set it as training. This is the test data. And then we have the option to select the number of plans. So I've got 7 plans. So this brought back 7 plans. We don't really have a good interface at the moment for previewing these. This is something that we need to work on. But I like the result of plan 7, so I'm going to use that one. So at this stage, the plan coming back from the IDA is converted into a T2 flow representation, and it's dropped into Taverna as a nested workflow. So this is the plan that we can go and actually look at it in a bit more detail. So we have data normalization on the training data coming in, and some selection by weight to generate a model, and then the test data comes in here. So at the moment this is hard coded, so if I look to the input data that we set, but in order to make this more generic, I'm going to just remove the input data entry points, and then add some input ports to this nested workflow. Okay, we'll save that. We can go back to our original workflow. And what I want to do, rather than execute this on the small samples that we use to generate the plan, I'm going to actually execute it on the full data. So I can reconfigure this rather than use the reduced data. I'm going to upload the full data set. This is the full training data. And everything stays the same there. Likewise for this one, I'll upload the full testing data. And then we can actually connect these workflows up. So I'll connect that training data up to this one and the testing data. And I have two other workflows that I've built. One is a small workflow that basically takes the output files produced in the previous workflows and opens these in a web browser so that you can view them on Rapid Analytics. And we have this other workflow that basically performs a large Sparkle query with the results against the CUP knowledge base. So I can bring both of these workflows in. I could insert nested workflow, already opened. The label data, so the final output. I want to view that. And taking the result of the model, I want to use the predicted protein in that model to query against the CUP KB. So this is the completed workflow, and we'll now want to run this workflow. And these workflows basically get opened in my default web browser. So this is the model, and we see there's this single protein with some prediction values. This is the final output data for the complete data set, and this is the result of the Sparkle query against the CUP knowledge base. So we're querying all the experiments to see where this protein is expressed. We have some expression values and the region of the kidney where this protein is expressed. So we see that there's it's present in another experiment in the urine, and there's some medium to weak expression in various portions of the kidney.